I mean, if you want to when you switch, I'll switch them.
Sure.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Hello, everyone. So you're not really going to see me a lot. So today we're going to talk a little bit briefly, shortly. I just want to talk about some of the good things, some of the bad things, some of the ugly things, and then what Northwestern University as a whole has to say about it. Okay, so those are good. All right, so here's a question. And your teachers aren't here. Dr. Vaughn is not here. Are you using AI? And it doesn't have to be for class. Or you won't. There we go. Okay.
Like if I don't know where I'm going to start.
Okay. So that was my next question. Like, how do you start? So what do you type in? Like, I have an essay about this. Can you give me topics? Maybe? That'll work. Right? Okay. How else?
I'll use it to check my grammar.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Good. How else? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it'll check it for formatting specifically. Yeah. Those are fun. All right.
I use all that for like programming. If I have something that's going to take a bunch of lines of code, I'll just write one and then I'll tell it
to repeat it. Yeah. Yeah. So the fancy ChatGPT, the one you pay for, has a code writer that I've been playing with. I don't know much, but I'm like, this is fantastic. Okay. What about social media AI? Right? Who was it? Was it Snapchat that had the friend? Do y'all talk to the y'all are like, no. Okay. But you talk to Siri, right? Maybe Alexa, still AI. I talk to Siri all day. My mom yells at Siri all day. Okay. So what I want to do is talk a little bit about how this works and what doesn't work and just kind of things to be aware of. Because I'm not here to say AI is wrong and you should never use it. I will never tell you that. We can't avoid it. Microsoft Word just paid something like $4 billion to incorporate AI into all Microsoft platforms. So it's not going anywhere, right? And so all I can do is teach you how to use it correctly. All right? Next slide. Okay, so who are you? Who am I? Why are we here? So this is geared more towards students. That said, faculty are being, some of them, if they come. They don't always come. Dr. Vaughn has never been to one of my presentations, so get on him about that. But we are entering this kind of discussion about AI on our campus specifically. And so what I want to do with you all is talk about the fun side of AI, the dangers, and then what Northwestern expects. Okay, there are no dumb questions. So if at any point you need me to slow down, you need me to repeat something, you want me to talk more about something, I may or may not have the answer, but I will definitely look into it. Okay. All right. So let's start with the good. So some of the good things about AI is it's creative, right? So what I did, because I go down rabbit holes. So there's Dolly, which is the image creator. And I said, I wanted a Dragacorn, which is a dragon unicorn based off of Draco Malfoy. And that's what I got. I was very impressed. I wish it were a little lighter, but you know, machines. So there are creative aspects. We see that. We see the music AI where it can kind of create undertones for your music. We see storytelling AI, which we're going to look at in a second. There are personal assistants. Have you guys seen that Motion commercial? And it's like Motion is the AI that you like plug into your calendars, like your online calendars. I paid for it for like 3 months and then I canceled it because I wasn't listening to it. It'd be like, you have to do this. And I'm like, no. So it exists. Whether or not we listen to it is another thing. But things like Siri, things like Alexa, things like your smart home animations, coding tools, which we talked about, writing assistants, and algorithms, right? So when you log into Netflix or Hulu, or what are y'all using? Any of them?
Piracy website.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. You're defeating the purpose here. Okay. Disney Plus. But when you log in, after a certain while, doesn't it say, hey, recommended shows? That is AI pulling your information, which works because it's sometimes I'm just like, I don't know what I want to watch. I just need noise. Okay. So that's the good part. It is used for creativity. It's used to help you. It's used to be productive. It's used for entertainment purposes. However, there is some bias and ethics that come into play, right? So when we're talking about bias, first of all, what is bias? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, yeah, a leaning preference towards one or the other. Okay, so when we're looking at bias and ethics, we're talking about preferences. Another kind of tricky rabbit hole is misinformation, right? Where an AI will generate news or it'll generate sources, especially if you're like, hey, I need a paragraph on, my students are running about Snow White. Let's go with it. I need a paragraph on Snow White and jealousy, and I need 2 quotations, right? It will make up quotations if you don't give it that information. Okay, and then we have the deep fakes, and this one is my favorite. Do y'all remember when that came out last year? The Pope in like the puffy jacket, and everyone's like, oh, the Pope got swag. And then like a month later, they were like, that is not a real image. Someone created that, right? And so, but when I don't want you to think bad or see me talk about the bad and think it's all bad. Sometimes it's not malicious, right? So you can build a GPT, like a bot, right? Again, you got to pay for the good chat GPT. We're all using it free, right? If you pay for the good one of the things you can do is create your own GPT. And so I'm doing one currently for Northwestern. And I'm using Northwestern documents, right? And so one of the things I'm doing is I'm putting in Northwestern policy on what goes in a syllabus. So then let's say someone from OSU or OU uses my bot. It is biased towards Northwestern. So whenever they put in their prompt, the answer they get isn't going to be good for OU or OSU because it's a regional and they're kind of a state public school, like a bigger whatever, R1. And so I don't want you to think bias and think everything is just out to get you. Sometimes it's just, what was the system trained on, right? Because do you all know the background of how that is built, how AIs are kind of, how they work? No? All right. Let's look at ChatGPT. You have this website. And with ChatGPT, you can go in and you can say, hey, I need a rubric. My students are writing a 3-page paper on a definition, a slang term. I want a grade based on content, grammar, and whatever. Can you create this rubric? What ChatGPT does is it goes into its brain and it pulls everything it thinks it needs to help me answer that question. So then the question becomes, what is its brain? Okay, I'm gonna get into a little conspiracy theory. Let me have this. So cheap labor in third world countries, like Hispanic countries and African countries, get paid $20 a day, and their job is to upload data into ChatGPT, right? So let's say all of us work in the dungeon of ChatGPT, and everyone has kind of their own role, right? So you're like video games, and you're coding, and your music, and your movies. And their job is to just find everything that they can on video games and coding and music and movies and just upload that into the ChatGPT brain. So that when everyone outside of ChatGPT goes in and we Google, I call it Googling, GPTing, I don't like that. That doesn't flow. What do you call it? Questioning? Searching? When you're in the GPT, it's pulling up the information that they put in its brain. And then it's generating information for you based on that. Okay? So me making a GPT, I'm doing like, it's called a syllabus checker. It's called the Ranger syllabus checker because that's where my brain was. So building my Ranger syllabus checker GPT, I put in faculty handbook, student handbook, template, because faculties, teachers, we have a template of what your syllabus should have. So I put that in there. And then we have online policy for online courses. And so then I should be able to go in and maybe put in Dr. Vaughn's syllabus in my GPT and ask it like, hey, based on the brain that I built for you, does this follow the syllabus requirements of Northwestern? Okay, which is great. That is great. But if I took that same GPT that I built to OAU or OSU, it'd be like, no, none of your syllabi would match Northwestern. So does everyone see how that works? Perfect. So that's the good, that's the bad. Let's talk about the ugly.
Sorry.
Nope, it's gonna be good. Okay, so again, conspiracy theory. Let me have it. Job displacement, privacy concerns, and ethical concerns. So one of the ugly truths of AI is that some jobs don't need humans anymore, right? That's just where we are.
Is it that jobs don't need humans or employers don't want to hire people?
That's the better thing, right? It's all gonna go down to money. If I can pay $800 a year for premium ChatGPT, and then I could ask it to check every syllabi on this campus, then that is one less body that Northwestern has to hire in the dean's office. If I could pay ChatGPT, $900 a year to build the perfect Comp 1 and Comp 2 class online, not face-to-face, then why do we hire these adjuncts? I could just pay this program, right? And so there are problems that come with that because there's no human oversight, right? Which is kind of needed. But even other things like quality assurance. Why would I need a human for quality assurance if I can get or create a bot that could check whatever product I'm creating and making? Okay, so how do we then fight that? That's a hard question, I know. It's a terrifying question, right? Because why can't I just put your papers in ChatGPT and my rubric in ChatGPT and then say, grade this for me? How would you as a student feel if I did that? What if ChatGPT gave you a D where I would have given you a C? Right? Because it's very practical, there's no emotion, right? So I'm gonna pick on Rose because I've never had her in a writing course. But let's say Rose writes a paper and it's a C paper, but I run it through ChatGPT and ChatGPT says, well, it doesn't follow this, this, and this in the rubric. So the grade should be 60, which is a D, right? But I know Rose has been working on it. I know Rose has turned in 2 drafts. I've talked to her. She's been to my office. And so I put that in my grading. And I'm like, actually, I give her a C because I've seen the work she's done. So that's that computer versus human element. So job displacement. Here we go. Privacy concerns. The government's watching you. Okay, let's go with that. Right? Have you ever said something around your phone and then you went somewhere and the ad was on your phone? Same thing is happening here. Every time you put something into ChatGPT or Gemini or any kind of AI, it keeps your search and adds it to its brain because it's constantly learning, like we are. Okay? And then here we go. Ethical concerns, and on the handout I gave you, some I mentioned are human oversight, which we talked a little bit about, and sentience, right? And so that leads into that story about the kid. Do you guys remember this? It happened last October. There's a 14-year-old kid in Florida who was just talking to a chatbot, and it ended up talking him into killing himself. You remember that story, right? And so I go back to the Snapchat one because the Snapchat, it's like your friend, right? And it's like, I don't want my friend to be human or to be like a human-esque robot. It's also like that movie Her. Anyone seen it? Scarlett Johansson is the voice of the robot. It's the whole thing. Okay. So then that's going to lead us into Northwestern. There we go. Okay. Okay. Are you a freshman? Sophomore? Juniors? Who's a freshman? Great. All right, I'm about to. No, I'm not. You've been here long enough. Here we go. Northwestern is very much a can you do it kind of school, right? Like you can say, we need to do this, we need to do this. And then someone else will go, well, but can you do it? You can't go. Okay. Which is great, right? That's how we get most things here. But in terms of policy, it kind of trickles down. So you can go to the president or the vice president or the dean, and you can say, what is your AI policy? And they're going to say, it's up to the faculty, it's up to the departments, right? So Northwestern as a whole doesn't have an AI policy, okay? However, every faculty member is required to have an AI. Okay, so do you see how that works? The university doesn't have set language, but every faculty member should have set language. And so that can be either a department AI statement, right? Maybe psychology as a whole came together and said, this is our statement on AI, or it could be based on faculty, right? So maybe, what's Dr. Vaughn's stance on it?
None.
None whatsoever, right? But what about Grammarly? Who uses Grammarly? That is AI. They built in AI into Grammarly, right? Don't tell him. But, right? Even Microsoft, are you using Google Docs or Google Online or Google Docs, Word Docs, online?
I use Google.
Online. That has literally that $4 billion in Microsoft Online. It built in the AI. So him saying, don't use it at all. Okay, unless you write it by hand and you don't look at anything online, AI is going to help you. Okay? We're more concerned with when you use it. Right now, if you're using it to help you outline or help you kind of prompt or help you kind of brainstorm, that's fine. But if you are using it to create your argument, then that's not fun. Okay? So, Taco Bell or Taco Mayo, which one is better? Why? Better. Okay. What? Okay. Whatever floats your boat. But if you were to put which is better, Taco Bell or Taco Mayo, into GPT and use its answer as your argument, that's when the issue comes into play. But if you are able to answer that question with Taco Bell, then you go to GPT and you say, you know, what are some reasons Taco Bell is better than Taco Mayo? And then you take those reasons and you grow them. Is that cheating? No? Why?
Your own energy into the building off of it. So like, yeah, you started with it, but then you're gonna go look and you're gonna pick out what websites can be used.
Exactly. Now, not all teachers are that progressive. Some say don't even touch it. But what are your majors? Theater? How do you use? It's random. Maybe not theater. What else? What other majors do you have? What are your majors? See, like, when can you and can't you use coding AI in computer science? Right. Right? Like, why not? And why not just have like this student, this person be the human oversight to whatever the AI spits out? I see a problem with that. A lot of people will see a problem with that. But what is the problem with that?
So can I ask a question?
Let's go.
When does a student know they're taking it too far that they're gonna get in trouble with AI?
If Dr. Vaughn gives you a prompt, or your teacher gives you a prompt on an assignment, and you copy and paste the entire assignment sheet into ChatGPT or Google Gemini or whatever, and then you just take whatever it gives you and turn that in, we have a problem, right? And we, as your teachers, know when you use it. I know you think like, it sounds like me. You don't know. But one of the things we as teachers do, me specifically, I design my assignments to where if you put it into ChatGPT, it's gonna sound weird. It's gonna sound weird, right? That's just how it is. Or I'll have you write something, handwrite it in class. And then I'll read what you hand wrote. And then I'll read your essay. And if the writing style doesn't match, I'm gonna be like, what happened? I don't know what Dr. Vaughn does. I don't know what he does. Question thinks he does. Okay. So again, think about it like this. Is the argument that you're writing for your essay or your assignment or whatever, did it come from your head or did it come from your chat? If it came from your head, less likely to be.
So there's a boundary.
Yes. Yes.
But so, like with the example with Taco Bell,
Okay.
choosing Taco Bell isn't the same as coming up with an argument. You
Okay.
said like typing in reasons and then taking those reasons and growing from them.
Mm-hmm.
If you choose something, isn't part of English to teach you how to support your argument
Yes.
on your own?
Yes. And so then you're going to ask it to give you some reasons, and then you have to go in and you have to kind of assess the reasons.
Shouldn't you be able to come up with your own
You
reasons?
should. I'm not saying you do this, Ash. I'm just saying, students are lazy. Love y'all. Students are lazy.
But I think a lot of them don't know. I think the biggest problem is the
Yes.
boundary of
Yes.
knowing
Yes.
when I can use it and when I'm using it wrong.
Bottom line, ask your teacher. And if your teacher says no, then just avoid it as much as you can.
But it can be helpful.
Right? But again, I am a big fan of Grammarly. I'll run it through there. Proofread, please. The issue with Grammarly is when, I don't know if you see this when you use it, but like it'll rewrite your sentences for you. That's when you get into kind of plagiarism. Right? But if it's like, this is the wrong word, this is spelled wrong, move this here, move that, fine, use it, do it. That is what it's there for. But if it's telling you how to write your sentences, that's a problem. Does that make sense? All right, so bottom line in terms of Northwestern policy is faculty have to have it, and some faculty are vastly different, right? I know in some art classes they're using it. I know in some education classes they're using it. Is there any class where you are required to use it or allowed to use it?
For writing our artist statement,
Okay.
we're now have it make like a rough draft.
Okay.
And then just wanted us to learn how to use it as a tool
As a tool.
instead of for us.
Okay.
Phillips and psychology, she lets us use it.
Okay. How?
I think we're allowed to use it for our papers. I don't remember. I think now.
All right. Any other class that allows you to use it? Or your teacher's just like, no.
I know in some ed classes, they'll allow students to use them for like ideas for like learning goals.
Mm-hmm. I did one on how to use AI to create rubrics, and I think Ed is using it to teach y'all how to do that. Okay, questions so far? No? All right, so let's shift gears, and I want us to go to a scenario. All right, I'm going to read the scenario, and then I want us as a group to kind of discuss how to react to it. So imagine a student government election at Northwestern. Who's a student government president?
Brayden,
Don't know that. Give me other names.
Chloe Lear,
Austin Rankin was.
Austin Rankin. He's not here anymore, right? Or he's in grad school. He's graduated.
He works here.
Okay. Austin. Austin's running for president. okay? But then a snap showing Austin making offensive, discriminatory remarks pops up. The snap spreads quickly across campus. It's shared on social media, so it's on Facebook, it's on TikTok, it's everywhere. And it causes outrage. Oh my God, AI. And it causes outrage and calls for Austin to drop out. Now, some students say the video is real. Some say it's AI generated deepfake, which exists, designed to manipulate the election outcome. Austin denies ever saying those words, but his reputation is already damaged. He's not even working here. So I have a few questions. What can we, students, faculty, do to verify whether the video is real or AI generated? Question one, how do we verify? So and then that's also the first step we need to do. Is it a real or fake video? Okay. And then what does Northwestern do, right? It goes to the president, vice president, the dean. Teachers are seeing it, faculty are seeing it. What is our responsibility, you think, as students? What should we be doing?
I think just following the policies that exist. Like,
We don't have any ideas.
there's no like anti-discrimination.
We do
law.
have that. We do have kind of bullying and harassment policies. So we would look at the policies kind of adjacent to the AI issue.
Could you bring in ethical, like if you ask people who have had them in class or like faculty, not students, because obviously you can have them make up things, but
Exactly.
can you
So then we would go to faculty and say, we saw this video of Austin. Is this the type of student you think he is? Okay. Okay. I can see that. What else? How do we stop this from happening?
Yeah, you can.
That's the fun part. It's not going anywhere. Right? Okay. All right. What about the person who posted it? Right? They created an anonymous Snap account, and I Googled how to do that, and it told me, and it was like, create an account on this other website, which can be embedded into Snap, and then you get anonymous snaps. And I was like, I don't know any of those words. But what about the person, you find the person who did it? What's their punishment?
So you just use it once.
If it was AI generated, fake, someone faked it and then posted it and then it spread. Yeah, they go to school here. So you're saying expel. Okay. Okay. What about y'all over here? The person who did it. What's their punishment? Yes. Because there's a lot of law happening around AI right now too, right? So Oklahoma has an AI committee, the state does. Most states have AI committees. Higher ed has AI kind of committees happening. And so laws are being created. Have you been hearing anything about AI laws? Yeah? Yeah, I know. So one of the big ones, there's so many. Okay, there's a lawyer who used ChatGPT to write up his court documents, like all of his legal briefs, everything. And they realized it was ChatGPT because if you are making a case in any kind of action, one of the things lawyers do, one tactic is to look at precedent. So if, let's say, somebody hits your car and that's because of, I don't know, faulty brakes. And so then a lawyer will look at other cases with faulty brakes by this same car type. And so they'll say, look at this case, look at this case, look at this case. They were all ended like this. And so this case also needs to end like this, right? ChatGPT had just made up legal cases. So he lost his law license. And another big one, there are a lot of writers, like novelists, because again, you have to train ChatGPT, you have to create its brain. And so one of the things that the company did was they put in novels by like, I don't know, you mean trashy novelists. Patterson, what's his name? James Patterson? Is that a person?
Yeah.
Yeah, James Patterson. They put his novels in there. And then you can go in and say, I want a murder mystery. And it'll base it off of his novels. And so the writers are suing, saying, you stole my idea. So a lot of legal things are happening as well. I just find that fascinating.
So should that like make students like wonder if they should teeter towards AI? If it's like really has that big of consequence?
I think it's all in how you use it, right? Like if you're using it, like I'll go in and be like, hey, Google Gemini is great for this. I'll be like, I have eggs, milk, this, and this. What can I cook? I do not want to go to Walmart. And it'll be like, here are some recipes. Or you can go in and say, you know, I need to write a 10-page paper. I have 5 days. Here's my outline. Help me create a writing schedule. Okay, that's fine. It's when you're using it for malicious reasons, right? Or it's when, here's the big thing, if you have to write a response to this for Dr. Vaughn or whoever, check what it tells you. That's also a problem. If you just take what it like spits out and just turn that in without any oversight, that's a problem. But check what it tells you, which is called assessing. And that's something we want you to learn how to do anyway. So I don't want you to be afraid of it. I just also want you to be aware of some of the dangers. Okay? All right, so the last question I have, and then I'm gonna see if you have any questions for me. As students, what do you want Northwestern to do about AI?
Do you guys feel that you've been taught or have enough resource of how to assess AI when it pushes out to you? Do you feel like you know how to assess it, or are you like, that's why I copy and paste it? Like, right? What would you guys say?
We don't know what you know, right? And so in our heads, it's like, should we be teaching you how to use it better? Should we be teaching you how to avoid certain things? Do you want classes on AI? Do you want workshops on AI? Right? What if we just came in here and I just taught you like how to use it to help you do X, Y, and Z? Right? Do you want the university to, I don't know. Look, y'all, we're broke. So I'm gonna say this, but we're broke. Do you want the university to pay for y'all to have nice ChatGPT accounts? Again, we broke. But like maybe we could do like a school account. Right? Y'all saw the Ranger on the website? Y'all saw they added that? He's not real. But that's AI. Right? For you. Here's the Ranger.
No.
Why not?
Type anything in there.
Anything that's on the search bar, you like, that's essentially what it is. If you won't type it into the search bar and it doesn't bring a result, he won't bring a result, and then I'll connect you to an actual person.
Okay.
So then,
So it's just the search bar.
It's
Yes.
effectively a search engine.
but if you are like someone who cannot find a specific answer, it'll shoot it straight to a direct person, and then they give you an answer.
Okay.
But I think,
But at the same time, I feel like part of that is we have to train it some more, right? Give it more answers, if that makes sense. Okay.
so like you guys, would you like to be taught how to use AI so your professors don't like tell you your paper's a 0? Like, do you guys know how to use AI correctly? Yeah?
Would you want a class on it?
Or like more of these that we set up?
I think I would like to know how to identify AI.
Okay.
I think that would be useful, particularly because I'm an ed major,
Mhm.
so I think that would be good.
Okay. How to identify. What else? What do you want to know? Y'all work with me.
You guys know how to use AI, everything about it?
Everything. What do you want to know?
Okay, what do you want to know about it? What can we do to help you? Okay, more things like this. Okay.
What else? What do you use it for? There's like, what? I'm zoning out here. What do you use it for?
It's like anything, like if I have like a random question, I'll like, just about anything, I'll put it in there.
Okay. All right. What job do you want to have when you graduate? Physical therapist. How do you think you would use AI in physical therapy? Okay, let me tell you about a fascinating one. There is a company out of Texas, of course there is, it's Texas, that is building an AI that will project certain parts of the body, right? And so like it can like take an image of someone's like leg muscles and then project it. And then you as the therapist can go in and maybe manipulate some of the projections. It's really cool. But a lot of the medical industry is leaning in towards AI. There are problems with that as well, because some of the AI, they're getting patient data and they're putting it into the system. And so AI will spit out maybe a consulting, advice for a patient that doesn't really work. And that's where bias and things like that comes in. But okay, but I mean, that's one way you can use it. Maybe you can use it to help create like a workout plan or like a, therapy plan for a patient. Just sit down and say, here's the patient facts, create a 6-day plan for them. That's an option. Fancy GPT. There it is. Right? And so then again, going back to kind of one of the bad things is, why would they need you if the patient can go in, like they'll go to the doctor and the doctor will say, this is wrong. And so then why couldn't the patient just put all of their stuff into the GPT? So then where do you, as the person, the human element, come in? Does that make sense? Things to start thinking about. What sets you apart from the GPT or the AI? Okay? So, all right, so we have about 20 minutes. What questions do you have? I'm here for 20 minutes.
You're till 12:15.
Oh, we have about 8 minutes. What questions do you have? I'm here until 12:15. No? What's that?
With the prominent concern about the de-skilling of education as a profession, are you concerned that AI plays into that at all?
Yes.
How so?
Did you hear about this? I'm just going to tell you about things I've heard about. There's a school in Texas that hired no teachers. The entire school is run by AI. You can Google it. That's terrifying, right? That is absolutely terrifying. Because it's just screens all day. Like, you still go to school, but you have like a iPad of some sort, and you just kind of learn your lessons like that. I see issues with that, right? Okay, gonna go on a rant. What makes us human, right? Makes us human